like they did the top 10 list. Jeremy Fowler put out the top 10 quarterbacks, and a lot of people were like, Stafford's above Hurts. And I'm like, you could have your Hurts argument. Stafford is amazing.
All right, you guys, let's get back to our roots, talking about how we get shaped in the media. And one thing we all know is black quarterbacks get portrayed differently in the media because they don't just get analyzed, they get a whole new concept created for them.
And I heard you, I think, say he was the Super Bowl MVP, won a Super Bowl. He's not being disrespected or something. It's not about what he wins on the field. It's about how everybody talks about him, Shrakes.
And that's what a lot of people don't get. They speak differently about black quarterbacks. They always find a way to question them, mentally or off the field. You already know the list. McNabb, not accurate enough. Cam Newton, doesn't study. Lamar, can't read defenses. Kaepernick, a distraction. Russell Wilson, can't get along with teammates. And that's the playbook they're using for Jalen right now. Because when they can't question the wins or how he lives off the field, they got to find something. I mean, this young man won a Super Bowl, just like Russell.
Jalen Hurts, tough to coach, not well liked, and Howie Roseman is very aware of it. It's finally coming out. The truth always does. Quote, Jalen has pushed back on changes that would diversify the scheme, including when it comes to him coming under center more. He's shown a reluctance to let it rip. He diverts from the game plan. And when does the truth come out? When people think their jobs are in trouble. So Barkley didn't get enough love. The D-line and O-line were dominating, but who got $255 million? Who's getting the commercials? Who's getting the magazine covers? It feels very Russell Wilson in Seattle.
Yeah, it feels like Russell because the media is using the same playbook. They're using the same narrative. Both of these guys are Super Bowl winning quarterbacks with no off-the-field baggage. So they start looking for something else. They bring up commercials and perks. Other Super Bowl winning quarterbacks get those same perks. But once they reach that golden boy status, you don't hear the noise the same way. And you'll still hear people say, it's just criticism. Every quarterback gets it. They can't even see the difference in the criticism.
Have a lot of passion for it. You know what you represent. And I think that all comes from knowing what's come before you. So there are a lot of greats, a lot of people like me that have had opportunities and have not had opportunities that I do it for. And so I know I represent a large group of people, and I carry that with me every day.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with on-the-field criticism. That's football. But when it turns to off-the-field narratives that fit a stereotype, that's intentional. It creates a reason for people to question black athletes. And every time a quarterback in the NFL has teammates that don't like them, that comes with the position. Peyton Manning had issues in his locker room. He had sideline arguments. But you didn't hear constant narratives about his leadership the same way. This isn't about the fans or the players. This is about how the media frames it. And even Peyton knows the criticism around Jalen isn't warranted. That's why he speaks highly of him.
I mean, it tells you all about his mental toughness, right? Because that's the kind of situation where it's embarrassing and you just don't sort of recover from it mentally or emotionally. So it tells you how mentally tough that, he is. And they said, you know, he was the first guy to high-five Tua in the locker room and, you know, was as celebratory after that win as, you know, all the players that were, you know, involved in the game. And you're right. I mean, he's played so well in both those Super Bowls. But I like the way he goes about it. He calls me a lot. It asks me lots of questions. They actually run a lot of plays that we used to run, Sirianni to Frank Wright to Tom Moore, sort of that chain. And he calls me with very specific questions about certain plays. So he's a student of the game. You know, as another example, you think, I mean, he squats 600 pounds. He can, you know, run over guys. He can throw it a mile. But his appreciation of the cerebral part of the game is what's impressive to me and how he's taken his game to the next level. And I think the sky's the limit with it.
And see, this is what makes it interesting because there was a time when Colin Cowherd didn't talk about Jalen like he does now. He talked about his leadership and him being a winning quarterback.
But once again, Jalen Hurts, stoic, intelligent leadership. He is so mentally dialed in.
And see, this is what happens sometimes early on. When a quarterback is winning, the language is positive, but it's still controlled. Everything gets framed in a way that tries to make the media look like it's fair and balanced, but it's not. Now, usually a quarterback who wins a Super Bowl, that buys them time from negative conversation. Even Aaron Rodgers didn't get a lot of negative, heavy criticism until he became more polarizing with all that conspiracy stuff. Jalen Hurts hasn't done anything like that. But his criticism started right after he won a Super Bowl. He didn't get any break. They questioned his leadership from the start, said it was the system, said it was the team, everything. And see, these small doubts get introduced over time, and those small doubts become the focus of what they talk about.
You know, it's interesting. You talk to Howie, and, you know, he wouldn't divulge anything on Jalen Hurts, but I was told during the summer by a source very close to the Eagles front office that people were pointing to A.J. Brown, and some of it's on Jalen Hurts. He is not well liked in the locker room. He's not a galvanizer. He's not one of the guys.
And that's crazy. He doesn't have to be one of the guys. There's a lot of quarterbacks that's not one of the guys, okay? But this isn't about right or wrong. This is about what gets pushed in a cycle and get repeated until it becomes the main story. And a lot of this negative talk about Jalen comes from relationship that he had with A.J. Brown, a star receiver, because we all know this. If A.J. Brown said some of the things he said about Peyton Manning or Tom Brady or any other Golden Boy quarterback, the conversation would sound completely different. It would be about that diva wide receiver. Now listen to how some of these fans speak about A.J. Brown.
Giving this guy a pass for actually being a terrible teammate. Because it's an easy target to, again, just hate on Jalen Hurts. This dude in 4 years was a 3-time All-Pro, back-to-back 1,400-yard seasons, 2 Super Bowl appearances, and a Super Bowl victory. And the reason you wanted out and out of Philly and off the Eagles is because of tight window throws. What the fuck is that? No, I'm being serious now. What is that? We are glazing this guy and giving him a pass for being a horrible teammate.
See, that's what would be said. That would be the focus if this was one of these Golden Boy quarterbacks. But people don't pay attention. See, Colin Cowherd is a powerful voice in the mainstream media. He's one of those voices that can help shape the narratives that get built and repeated all the time. And he is known for creating labels that stick and start showing up everywhere, like this label right here.
One thing that has become obvious for Jalen Hurts, he is a circumstances quarterback. If the O-line's perfectly healthy, if the offensive coordinator is great, if Saquon Barkley is having an amazing night or season, if the defense is #1 like last year, he's really successful.
You guys hear that? What he just said, that goes for any quarterback. No quarterback can do anything by themselves. They all need help. They all need a team around them to win. He's been doubted ever since he came on the scene back in Alabama. And I don't know if he'll ever win another Super Bowl, but the way he carries himself on and off the field, he's winning at life.